Right. Yo, yo, what up, everybody? Let's get ready to jam. Mr. Bonnie,
Tuesday.
happy Tuesday.
How's everybody doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I guess I'm speaking for everybody here. So
Right.
I don't care about you, just care about me, you know? All right, cool. Give a few minutes for everybody to get started here. Welcome, welcome. So we're getting toward Thanksgiving, right? This is a really, really important time, at least for sales reps inside my world, because even though it might seem like we got 2 months left, we really don't. We are missing a week for Christmas. Depends on what you're doing for New Year's. Depends on what you're doing for Thanksgiving. And I take that back. It doesn't depend on what you're doing. It depends on what your clients are doing.
Right.
Because your success is going to be dictated by your client's availability to be able to make decisions.
Oh,
So we got some variables, guys. We got some variables. So we're going to talk through that today. We're going to go through the perfect sales week. We're going to work through our planner, how to correctly execute on that planner. So you guys can have a very, very clear path of what needs to happen each week in order for you guys to be successful. You ready, Mr. Bonnie?
heck yeah.
All right. Um, yeah, so as everybody rolls in, thank you guys for joining. My goal today is to really to be able to dive into our perfect sales week, our planner. Um, we have a lot of holidays coming up and a few different things happen, and you guys could be experiencing this. Number one is that your client has money that they need to spend, and that's like your best case scenario. It doesn't get any better than they have money that they have to spend by the end of the year or they lose it. Okay, that is typically a little bit more of a structured company. Property managers absolutely live inside this world, right? Because they're very protective of the money or the CAM, the Common Area Maintenance Fund that they have. Now we're getting toward the end of the year. They didn't use it, and now they have to use it because their tenants have paid in for this investment, right? This fund or budget. So now they're starting to be able to make proactive decisions. The other thing that's happening within this, and I think I've talked about this in some of our other meetings, is that budgets are real right now too. If you guys want to create another bucket full of opportunities and revenue and projects for 2025, it needs to be on this sheet. You need to have your clients specifically targeted for where your time is going to be best invested. So we'll talk about that. We'll go through that. But yeah. All right, cool. Give one more minute here and then we'll get rolling. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask this question. I want what's up? I had something playing in the background. All right,
The
so
I don't know, dude. I'm telling you, man, the video that we roll at the beginning of Roof Wars, it forces a pop-up in one of my tabs for some reason. Remember how I was doing that in the beginning?
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Not us, guys. Not us. It's
Settings.
Zoom.
Settings. They're gonna force you to watch it. All right. So here we go. Here's my question to you guys as we start this off. Are you guys using the Perfect Sales Week Planner, or are you guys using something where you're writing down everything that needs to happen in the week in order for you to be successful? And this could be as simple as saying, I need to sell $10,000 this week, right? At the highest possible level, are you writing down the definition of success somewhere? That's the first thing. It needs to be in front of us. It's got to be in our face, right? I'm going to go out of left field, but I have like a sliding glass door that's on the side right over here. And I have all of the times that I used to run when it was nice out. And it would just be in my face, right? Just constantly looking at it. Part of success is understanding what it looks like, right? Because success for me might be different than success for you. So where do you write it down? Where do you guys start defining what that week looks like? Just throw it inside the chat. Let's get rolling there, guys. We're showing up. We're spending some time together. Let's make sure we're using it to the best of our potential. All right. Time to roll, guys. All right. So my name's Chad Westbrook. I'm excited to be here for you guys. As I think we got a couple new people that's joining in. So welcome, welcome. The idea of this meeting is to be able to help you guys grow your business. And when I say grow, I mean get really, really wide. I mean add new blood into your business to where you guys have the ability to be able to continue to be able to scale new customers. Because when we get really wide, that's great to be able to get a new customer, a new opportunity the first time that you're working with someone. That's great. But then we're going to take you right into Thursday, which is scaling, which means getting more out of that customer. So today is all about growing your book of business. Today is all about getting really, really wide. And I'm happy to be here, happy to share some best practices and yeah, make this work. All right, cool. Mr. Bonnie.
Guys, for the new people here, my focus is on how do we double the size of your business, your sales business every single year. That's what all these strategies are. It gives you a foundation to build off of. So the optimizations you're creating are giving you an improvement in your conversion from stage to stage. So if you want to make more money, guys, if you know you should be getting better results, this is the program. This is the complete solution to be able to do that. So get active in the chat. Those of you that we already got people that are active in the chat. The identifying the area of your funnel where you guys need to focus in. Do not be shy. Do not be bashful. Get it in the chat. Okay. Let's make sure that we're addressing that one area, that one bottleneck every single week. And when we do that 52 weeks a year, we create massive improvement in our overall results. So go ahead and take that time now, guys, across your 5As, just like Chad talked about. Get in there and let me know. If it's getting your activities in, that's fine. If it's activities to conversations, that's fine. Conversations to meetings, meetings to quotes, or quotes to sales. Get the area of the funnel that you are focused on and you want to work on. Get that in there right now.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Throw it in, guys. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys changing your business? Right? When I mean your business, I'm talking about your book of business. I'm talking about your guys' success and definition of it. Throw it in. There you go. Cool. Love it.
All right, let's get it in. Got a couple more here. Got to know your numbers, guys.
So the question is, where at in your book of business are you guys focusing? Is it the number of activities that you need to complete in order to be able to talk to somebody? Maybe you're talking to enough people, but it's not turning into a meeting. Maybe you're running enough meetings, but it's not turning into a quote. You guys have your 5A sheet, right? You have your strategic sales plan. Where in that sales plan are you focusing this week? Where is it that if you put time into solving that one piece, right, the rest of the dominoes are going to fall? So throw it inside the chat. Huge part of this is knowing, right? It's one thing to be able to say it. That's what I'm saying. Where are you writing this down? Where are you looking at this? How is it slapping you guys in the face? So on Friday, when we shut our computer at 5 o'clock or we shut the door, we know if we're successful. It's not I feel good. It's not I worked really, really hard. It's not I put 50 hours in. How do you guys know if you're successful? It's the one area of your business that you're focusing on. All right. All right. So what we're going to be going through today is really something that is completely, I'll say, foundational. Because when we can talk about anything we want, but if you guys don't have the foundation or the bones or the framework or whatever we want to call it, that's going to support your success, right? We don't rise to the level of our goals. You can tell me whatever your goals are all day long. I don't want to say I don't care, but what I do care about is that the process that's going to support you getting to those goals. The time blocks that you have on your calendar that's going to allow you to be able to run those meetings that you need to run or make those activities or have those conversations or whatever it is. If you want it bad enough, right? If you were going to lose your business, if you were going to get fired, if you were going to lose your house, those types of different things, unless this one thing happened, I'm going to assume that you guys would find a way to make it happen. You wouldn't lose your house over the number of activities you have to call. And that's really going back into what we talk about. If the problem is big enough, we're going to solve it. If the problem's not big enough for you, right, or your customers, they're not going to solve it. So when we talk about growth at every single level, local, regional, or national, I can tell you it just takes more control. It takes more structure to be able to do this again and again and again. And that's what you guys are going to get, right? As we start walking through this perfect sheet of how you guys are going to roll it and bring it to the top. When we talk about a regional side, one of the hardest things that I had to do specifically to this topic was to be able to get a new sales rep in an area where we had no brick and mortar, right? We didn't have an office that they came into every day. They didn't check in or check out. They came into a Monday morning meeting, and then at the end of the day, their success was dictated based upon their results. And the results was based upon what they did. And what they did was based upon a schedule. You guys feeling this, right? Your CRM or whatever it is that you're tracking is just a result of what you did. It's just reporting on your activity or how committed you were to using it. It's not the fact that we don't want to use a CRM. It's the fact that sometimes it's just a pain in the ass, or sometimes it's taking up too much time, or there's something else more important. That's really what this comes down to, is what are the most important things that you guys need to accomplish in order to be able to hit that $50 million in revenue. Because if you don't have the structure, you can say, I want to be 10 million, 5 million, whatever it is, makes no difference. If you don't have the structure to support it, we're never going to get there. And that's where all of this kind of comes together. It's so easy to be able to be lost in the minutia of working really, really hard, because everybody can work really, really hard. I can make 100 phone calls just like anybody else, but it all depends on my structure. It all depends on my conversations. It all depends on how I'm executing the plan I have in front of me on what my success will be. Spending all day in an industrial park doing drops and spending all day doing phone calls to very specific individuals that I know fit my business model are going to get me two completely different results. So when we talk about having this framework and working through this perfect sales week, right, this planner, the idea behind this is that you guys are in control of your destiny. It doesn't matter how big the company is that you're working with. In my mind, it's a lot easier to get lost in those companies. Unless you're a number on a board, it's easy to be able to, I'll say, skate through as I'm building my book of business. I'm doing different things like that. So don't ever be scared of another sales rep from a larger company coming in, because you have the ability to be able to create just this very unique solution to where they're probably going to have a product, right? They have a product or they have something they're trying to sell. You guys have the ability to be able to create something really, really unique, which is what allows you to be able to separate yourself. We talk about seven-figure service division, so we're going to rock through some of this stuff. There's a massive step that you have to take in order to be a bootstrap builder to go into a territory titan. This is what it looks like. We go through it in each one of them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the idea is that we're going to get you guys to seven figures. When we talk about a seven-figure sales rep, what we're talking about is someone who not only has new sales that are coming in, so you're hunting, right, and getting really, really wide. That's what we're working on today, to make sure we got the time dedicated to be able to get the results that we need. But we're also getting very deep, which means we got reoccurring work coming in. And notice that when you start off as a storm chaser, you're waiting for the rain to come in order for you to be able to get a lead call. And as you go up, you're not waiting for that anymore. You're making your opportunities. You're creating those post-job proposals and doing those on-site upsells and really driving through value, right, to get deeper into your client, to get more of their spend, which is what we talk about on Thursday. The idea for you guys is I want you to be able to flip in between, or flip from someone who's waiting for it to rain to someone who likes when it doesn't rain, because you guys got to get your contracts done. And there are sales reps out there, there are companies out there that are just like that, but we got to be able to understand what is our growth strategy and what is our scale strategy. Right? And we talk about this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Growth strategy, right? We're getting more from what we're doing. Scale, or growth strategy, sorry. We're getting wide. We're going to find new customers, new blood that's coming in. Our scale strategy is getting more from what we have, right? So again, we're going to go really, really wide today. That's our goal. And on Thursdays, we go really, really deep. So how do we get more of that spend? How do we become more of a trusted advisor specifically to our customer? David, you want to take us through the perfect sales week, sir?
Yeah. And so guys, just going back quickly to one thing Chad was talking about, I'm a firm believer in what we're capable of as human beings is fully determined by the amount of stress and pressure we're willing to put ourselves under in an environment where we care about something critically and we're willing to do the work and find that next level of thinking, that next level of problem solving, that next level of performance that will take us to the next point of our potential. And it was like Chad said, when we're in an environment where we have to get something done, like let's just say for our kids, we go get it done. It is amazing what we're capable of. And I'll tell, and I believe this for Chad and I too, we're not even at the point of understanding what we're fully capable of. But I'm also going to say to each one of you guys, you're not fully clear on what you're capable of as a performer until you continue to put yourself in an environment where you are forced to go figure it out. You don't give yourself the excuses. You don't give yourself the opportunity to say, oh, well, didn't get there. It is do or die. We've got to have our back against the wall and say, we have got to figure this out. It matters to me that much. And when we do that, guys, that's when we get to the point of really understanding what we're actually capable of. And everybody in here, that's what I want for you guys, because that's what sales does. Sales puts us in that position where we have the most responsibility on our shoulders within the company to actually go produce something that's absolutely critical for the lifeblood and for everybody's paycheck. And that's friggin' stressful. And the best way to do it is to be able to take control and accountability yourself. Now, the perfect sales week and all the tools that we're giving you is a perfect example, guys, of where Chad and I have taken this so seriously in terms of the people that we lead and the companies that we work for or with, that we want to make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned when it comes down to exactly how we have to operate to be at our best. So getting into the tactical side of this stuff is great, guys. It's all a lot of fun. Chad and I obviously geek out about this stuff all the time. But I don't want to lose sight of the personal and professional growth that all of us have the opportunity to be able to capture and go through by going through this difficult process of figuring out this game. Not everybody can do it. You guys are choosing to do it. You signed up for it. We are here with you. We are here for you. And we want to give you absolutely everything that we have so that you guys can reach your potential. So when we're talking about these tools combined with the grit, combined with an attitude of I'm not going to allow myself to fail. I'm going to figure this out. Guys, sleepless nights are okay. Being stressed out is okay. Guess what? That's how we grow. Nobody grows in an easy environment. Nobody grows in a cushy environment. It's okay to go through that stuff, but know as you're going through that stuff and you're forcing yourself into that environment where you actually do care enough and it does matter to you enough that you're not going to be able to sleep, that you have two people here for you guys every single week, and we're ready to pour into you with every single tool that we've built and developed over the last 15 to 20 years. And we're right by your side.
So I want to share something on my side. Like when you're talking through this, David, like one of the biggest things that are most significant things that I had to go through within my career, and this wasn't a leadership side, but it can be applied anywhere, is that I sucked at delegating. Everything was me because no one can do it as good as me. And what I ended up doing is I took on a lot of self-help books, right? Getting things done, different things like that. But I'll say the biggest difference, or I'll say the biggest change that happened with me is that I opened up my calendar to other people within the organization to be able to look at what I was doing. And it was so eye-opening, right? And we're still doing that at this point right now between David and I. What do I do each day? And does that activity or does that action actually help me get to where get to what we need to accomplish this week? And it comes down to the Eisenhower theory, all that kind of different stuff that comes together. But most of the time, like I'll get distracted by emails, right? I all of a sudden look at something and I got 15 emails. It's like, oh man, I need to go check my emails. Now all of a sudden I get off task and now I'm 30 minutes later, I'm checking emails. And that was 30 minutes I was supposed to be prospecting, right? So it doesn't happen. Why? Because one, in my head, I'm avoiding it because I don't like it. And then number two, it's the shiny syndrome thing, right? I see something over here. I got a red dot on my phone. I can't have that. And like just all these different things that always process through me. And one of the biggest things that I guess I'll share with you guys is that when I opened my calendar up for like what I actually do, right? And it's like, well, I got to do this, and I don't come to work until, I don't start come to work, right? I don't start work until 9 a.m. on Tuesday because I have this. Those things have a massive impact for what I call the golden hours, or the time that we actually have dedicated to getting done what we need to get done. And that's just for me, that I've been in that situation where I truly feel I need to do these things, but when someone else looks at it, it's like, why are you doing that? Like, what if you never did that? Would it make any difference? And you got to be humble enough to be able to take that back. But it will, and I think we said it inside one of the other trainings, right? Time will take as long as you allow it. So that's a really, really big part of the where do we need to focus within our funnel? How are we going to make these changes going through everything we're going through today? You guys have to be open to that. So I'm not telling you to go share your calendar with everybody, but if you have someone that you can talk to about that, another sales rep, something, your boss, a manager, something to that extent, where you guys really want to be able to take that next step, I would challenge you to do that. Be humble enough to be able to take the feedback, right? Of like, man, it looks like you got a boatload of time. Why aren't you doing this, right? Or why are you not accomplishing this? It could be as something as you're ignoring it. And I say that because that was me, right? I do what I want to do. I do what I like to do, but then that also leaves everything inside the corner that I don't want to do. All right. Or I might not be as successful at, or something that I don't enjoy as much. So just sharing that with you guys on a humble side for me, of that was a major, major learning curve that I went through, right? That I was doing just what I wanted, and that I would fill my 50 hours worth of work with stuff. I was busy, but when it came down to accomplishing the goals that need to be accomplished, they were being hidden. So just want to share that part.
Yep. So the perfect sales week, guys, it's yet another tool. Chad and I very much subscribe to the fact that we're never going to rise to the level of our goals. We're going to fall to the level of our systems and processes. And that's James Clear from Atomic Habits. We live in a culture in sales where everybody is trying to rally and rise to the level of their goals. It's the heroics. It's I did it. I freaking nailed it. Well, guess what? You lose a lot more weeks and months than you win in that type of environment. And that doesn't create sustainable success. It causes a lot of burnout too for us, which we don't want for you guys. So the perfect sales week is one of the most important processes that we're going to give you guys that will give you a base activity in your week. And like we talk about, like I know a lot of you guys that are on here are already tired of hearing me say this, but you can't hit your sales targets if you miss the very first number. Sales is a game of numbers, whether you believe it or not. Whether you believe gravity exists or not, whether you believe it's real or not, it does not change the fact that we are all on the ground, guys. Whether you believe in the law of numbers or not, it does not change the immutable law of over time. You will get the same consistent performance from stage to stage if nothing else changes. And when we look at that top line activity number, what we found that magic number to be is 400. And that's where the 10 and 10 comes in. But how do you hit the 10 and 10? What's the quality of that outreach? What's the quality of the quantity, if you will? Right? Because if the quantity is not there and the quality is not there at the right level, then you're not going to be able to get conversations. That's where we're trying to take all that guesswork out for you guys and give you the perfect sales week that allows you to structure your entire week in a way where you can get your drops, your phone calls, your emails, and your LinkedIn requests all structured out on your calendar. When you're doing them, what days you're doing them, and how many of those you're doing to ensure that you're hitting your targets.
Yep. 100%. 100%. It was so I ran numbers with my telemarketing team, sales development team, and I ran it for I think a month, 3 months, a year, and 2 years. And it was insane how accurate and consistent the information was. I think it was one in every 24 calls would result inside a meeting. I think it was one in every 10 resulted in a connection. And we did all of that for this exact reason, because we knew if we put enough calls in that we would eventually talk to somebody, right? But like what was the call? What was the number that we had to do? And that all goes back into the perfect sales week. what we're doing, quality, quantity, all that stuff kind of ties together, but absolutely. So what I want to take you guys through today is the Perfect Sales Week Planner. And the reason this was created was really for that exact question that I asked you guys at the end of the day on Friday at 5 o'clock or whatever day or whatever time you end your day on Friday. What is success? And I've asked this question a handful of different times. And a lot of times I find that sales reps can't answer that question. It's not just sales rep, it's across the board. We can't answer that question. What is the definition of success? Is it the dollar amount that you sell? Right? Well, if it's the dollar amount that you sell, why don't you just sell one job for $40,000 and you're fine? Is it the quantity of jobs that you sell? Well, I can sell a bunch of $100 NTE increases. Does that make me great? It's a collaboration of so many different things that come in, and then we take in the grow versus scale side, right? So now we had another variable in it that we got to go hunt and find new customers, and we got to scale our existing customers, right? We got to get deeper into the customers that we're currently working with. So what we ended up putting together is this, and it's called the Perfect Sales Week, right? It's the planner. And the idea of this document, whether you have the pad, if I've met with you and I've given you the pad, it's beautiful. If you don't have the pad, that's fine. You can still print this out. You can use this digitally, whatever works for you guys. This is, again, framework. This is framework for you guys to be able to define how am I going to use my time today to get to where I want to be on Friday, to get to where I want to be at the end of the month, to get to be where I want to be at the end of the quarter, to get to where I want to be at the end of the year. And I don't care if that is a goal that was given to you by management or the company or wherever it is, or if your goal is based upon your commission rate and how much you need to sell in order to get to where you want to be. Because to me, that's the real question. The real question that I always ask in the interview process is, where do you need to be? Where do you want to be? Need to be means I need to be here to be able to live life. And I truly believe that everybody is going to fight to be able to live the life that they want to live or that their family is currently living. No one wants to take a sales job and work less. I truly believe you're going to fight for that. But the difference is where you want to be. And this goes right back into the whole Atomic Habits thing. You're not going to rise to whatever your goals are. You can tell me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to sell 2 million next year. All right, cool. How? How does that split? What's the re-roof side? What's the service side, right? What is that process that comes to it? So the Perfect Sales Week gives us that framework on what are we supposed to do on Mondays? What are we supposed to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? What are we supposed to do on Friday? So if you guys haven't looked in the book yet and literally read through the Perfect Sales Week, it's giving you the framework to be able to structure your week, to be able to hit that 400. And if you guys are above average and you have more conversations than we're expecting from the 100 activities, that's beautiful. If you have more meetings, that's wonderful. If you have more quotes, that's great. And if you have more sales, well, hopefully we're getting to where you want to be, not to where you need to be. Because where you need to be is enough just to be able to cut lines. And I'll be honest with you, that's never where I want to be, right? I want to live life to the highest potential. I want to be able to go out to eat whenever I want to go out to eat. I want to be able to go do stuff with my family. Not because I'm just going to hit the bottom of the barrel, but I'm going to have a process that's going to allow me to be able to see the vision, right, of what success is on Friday. I'm going to define that on Monday, and then I'm going to execute that plan. So if we go back and forth between the Perfect Sales Week, right, and it doesn't matter if you're on the outside sales rep, the outside sales rep that does your inspections, or the inside sales rep, Monday is still exactly the same. Monday is not a meeting day, okay? There is something called golden hours, and golden hours are ultimately the hours that your customer is working, making decisions, and interacting on to solve problems. It's typically not Monday morning at 8 a.m. So when you guys come into the office, use that time to be able to set yourself up for success, right? A lot of times there's a Monday morning meeting, you're getting different stuff lined up, and you need to figure out what your day looks like. So on Mondays, I want you to be able to answer 3 questions, and I would love for you to be able to use this sheet not as a management tool, but as a self-accountability tool. Because at the end of the day, this is your plan. These are your goals. This is where you want to be. You can call it a manager, a supervisor, an owner, wherever it is. Their job truly is to be able to support you in your success. because if you're not successful, they won't be successful. So look at this sheet as a supporting mechanism, a supporting tool to be able to ensure that you have the process in place to be able to hit the goals where you want to be. So the first thing that I want on Monday is I want your entire schedule set. I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday set, that you know what you're doing. And I'll explain what that looks like in a sec, but schedule set. The second thing is I want you to be able to go into your opportunities, and I want you to be able to make a decision, right? And it's not even make a decision. I want you to define all of the open quotes that you have where your client is going to be making a decision. That is your first step. I don't care about close ratio. I don't care about confidence percentage. I don't care about any of that. The first thing that we need to define when we're talking about projected revenue is what customers do I have that have a proposal in their hand that have committed to making a decision this week, right? Checkbox number one, is the problem big enough for them to act? It's big enough for them to act, and they've committed to making a decision on this project this week. That's number one, right? I don't play my weeks by hope. I don't play by my weeks by, I'll follow up with them next week, see if they answer the phone. I play my weeks by strategically solving customers' problems or helping them get to a goal. And there's a time frame that they need to be able to get to that goal. And I know that because that's part of my discovery side. So when we talk about projected revenue, this is not hope, this is actual. What customers are making decisions this week? Then you can go into your confidence ratio of how confident are you that you've created a solution that is unique to you guys solving it. So customers that are making a decision, then go into confidence ratio, throw a number inside there. When you throw a number in there, that's instantly going to tell you if you need to maintain your week based upon where you're at, or if you're going to have to find some additional revenue to be able to hit the goal that's in front of you. And we'll talk about that. That ties into the 5 drivers, but this is all on Monday. We don't wait for Friday to be able to see if we hit the goals or not. We're figuring this out on Monday. The last thing that I want for you guys is I want you to be able to put the number of drops that you guys are going to do. So a drop is when you stop by a nearby building. A drop is not going into an industrial park and spending all day in an industrial park. A drop is not hitting one of the main streets and stopping at every single building down a main street. When we do drops, there's a couple different things that's going to guarantee that you guys are going to have success. The first one is that you have some type of social proof. If they don't know you and know who you are, you better have something that's going to trigger them to trust you, right? We've talked about this all the time inside Scale, right? That more work or getting work from someone is about trust. So social proof is the best. Now, when you're literally working with the neighbor next door, you just ran a meeting next door and you know the guy, you just spoke to him, you understand the problems that you're going to have. You're going to have a truck next door next week or this week or whatever it might be to inspect the building. You don't got more social proof than right there. Hey, I just met with John next door. We're going to be doing an inspection on his building for a few of the leaks that he has. I wanted to see if you guys had any problems or goals with the building that I could help with, especially since my truck's going to be in town, right? Or especially since my truck's going to be right next door. Drops are not in an industrial park. Drops are not things that you dedicate 5 hours to running down up and down a street. A drop is to the left. A drop is to the right. A drop is across the street. So 3 drops to every 1 meeting that you run. Okay, we'll talk about this. Left, right, across the street. So once you set your schedule, which is number 1 right there, we should be able to answer 3 questions. And we'll come back to this top part in a second, how we complete it. First thing is set meetings. If you have a set meeting, that means there's a day and a time for you to be somewhere. That is the definition of a set meeting. You have a day and a time where you're going to be meeting a customer. This could be an inspection. This could be a new meeting that you're running. There's something where you have to be at an exact day and an exact time. So if you are a sales rep that do your own inspections, great. What do you have set up for the week? Because those are going to become your set meetings that you have. If you don't have anything, we'll talk about that in a second. But if you guys have something on Tuesday, a set meeting where you need to be, Great, throw it in there. That then becomes the epicenter or the center of where you're going to be that day. The number one killer to your day is window time. Because when you're behind a truck or you're behind the wheel driving to somewhere else, we're not meeting with customers. We're not growing our book of business. Yes, you can be on the phone. I know all that kind of different stuff applies, but at the end of the day, I want you in front of customers. If you're an outside sales rep, the job is for you to be in front of customers talking to them. So the quicker and more efficiently that we can make that happen, just like David said, it's a law of numbers. We're going to get you guys in front of those individuals. We're going to give you the talk tracks that you need to have, right? It's all within the playbook or the black book to where you can have those good conversations. So set meetings is number one. What meetings do you have? What day and time do you have to be somewhere? The second thing I'm going to tell you guys is that we need to open up a map. So if you're inside Centerpoint, you're inside somewhere else, we're going to find out what open quotes do we have in that exact area. Because if you have an open quote, a proposal that has not been awarded yet, it is negligent for you not to stop by. And not stop by to sell something, not stop by to force them. Stop by because if you want to sell yourself as a local customer, which almost everybody wants to make themselves seem like, hey, yeah, we're inside the area. We do work here all the time. You can trust us. If you ever have something come up, we can get there really, really quick. Prove it. If you're in the area, stop by. Because if your customer is going to award the project, they're going to award the project based off the problem being big enough that they actually have to do something and them not needing or them needing a new resource because their current one's not working, whether they're self-producing it or they're using another contractor. So number one, what set meetings do you have? What day and time do you have to be somewhere? Number two, what open quotes do you have inside that area? Notice that I got 4 different areas there. Right? You can fill out 4. Stop by 4 quotes. If you have more than that, that's great. Stop by the building. Stop by the tenant. You're in the area. Use the time for what the time is supposed to be used for, which is you face-to-face with people. If you're in a strip mall and you have a proposal for a strip mall right down the street, walk in. We talked about this within the 4 different persona types. Some customers have no idea what it looks like. They have no idea that there's missing missing ceiling tiles or stains on the walls or anything else like that. Stop in. What's going on? Is it still leaking, right? Have a conversation about it. If the pain is big enough, the customer will do something about it. Stop in, show your face, and be local. That's where open quotes come from. So open quotes means that you have a proposal that is currently active, that is not yet awarded in the immediate area that you're running your meeting. The last one was local clients, and the same rule applies because if someone has bought from you, and I don't care if they have an open proposal or not, if they have bought from you, then that means they're in your book of business. The second part to this is, do we have the opportunity to scale with them? So get more work from them. And if you do, then that's just common sense to stop in and say, hey, what's up? How can I help? What's going on? Is there any other locations, right? Have that business develop or that scale strategy conversation. It just makes sense. So what I'm trying to do is stop being a windshield warrior where I'm on the street driving from the north side of town, south side of town to a new meeting over here to a new meeting over there. Let's split our days up and be smart with our time. Because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are going to be identical. The difference is where you're going to be in town, where your epicenter is, what open quotes you're going to be going to, what local clients you're going to be stopping by. Now, I told you I'd talk to you a little bit about projected drops. So we talked about what a drop is. But for every meeting that you run, it's left, it's right, and it's across the street. So if you have 3 meetings set up on Tuesday, that's 9 drops that you can potentially do. Right? Social proof, we're local, we're by it. If you have 2 open quotes, that's another 6. Left, right, across the street. Now you got 15 drops that you're doing in one day. And if you have 3 local clients, that's another 9. Think about the number of drops that you guys can get done if we strategically do the drops and there's a purpose behind it. The purpose is because we're literally right next door. You guys will never give better service than when you're right next door. You'll never have better social proof than when you're right next door. Now, if it's a big industrial park and the building to the left and the building to the right you have to drive to, so be it. It's a big building. I can assume that you would love to be in it. You would love to work with it. So take the time, go the extra effort, left, right across the street. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the same tactics. The only difference is where you're at. That allows you to be able to be in different parts of the city and be able to really, really focus on honing in on that part of the city. Now, is it a 5 mile radius? Is it a 10 mile radius? It all depends on how rural the area is that you're working in. But at the end of the day, my goal is for you guys not to be a windshield warrior, not to be able to drive an hour and a half to your first meeting, to drive an hour back to get to the point where you're supposed to be. That's not efficient. That's not a good use of our time. That's half of our day, according to 3/3 of our day used behind the wheel. Yeah, I know you can make calls, all that kind of different stuff. But again, as an outside sales rep, I want you guys doing what you do best, which is more than likely being in front of people. Because if you were best on the phone, I would assume that you'd be an inside sales rep, not an outside sales rep. The last part that I want to talk about is Friday. So you'll see down here that there's a blank space down here for reminders. Write in whatever you want. What do you need to remember? Something that happened, maybe someone you're going to stop by, a phone call you need to make. It's just a space for you guys. If you scan this QR code, it takes you right to the perfect sales week. So you're like, man, I don't remember how this works. No problem. Scan the QR code. It'll take you right to the perfect sales week. Now, Friday, your closeout plan right here. Friday is here, and there's nothing on Friday for a reason, because at the end of the day, we need to be able to execute the plan that we have on this sheet in order to help define our success, be able to define the schedule that we're going to run, the revenue that we're going to sell, and the drops, right? The grow side of the business that we're going to execute. Whatever happens throughout the week, it allows you guys to be able to make tweaks and say, you know what, on Tuesday, your client wasn't there because their kid was sick and they asked to reschedule. No problem. What's Friday look like? It allows you to use Friday as a cleanup day so you can still execute what you need to execute in the week to be able to hit your success, your definition of success. There's a rain day. You couldn't do the inspection. All right, cool. Let's reschedule it for Friday. You don't have to reschedule it a week out. It allows you to be able to use those variables within your week. So we're going to plan for 4 days. We're going to plan for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday is our setup day. We're going to set the schedule, projected revenue, projected drops that we're doing, right? Once that's done, then we're going to print out any proposals we have, anything that we're going to be delivering face-to-face with individuals, make sure we got all of our marketing material, all of that different stuff. We're setting ourselves up for success on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're executing that plan. Friday is your variable for whatever goes wrong throughout that week. Drop it into Friday, right? Because we can very quickly move stuff over. If an emergency comes in or someone calls you and is like, hey, man, I'd really like you to swing by and, I want to talk about the proposal. No problem. What's Friday look like? You don't got to destroy your entire week, or you don't have to destroy an entire day to be able to hit that when you have Friday as your variable. Mr. Bonnie, anything you wanna add to this?
All the small things, guys. I think that's one of the things that we figured out. It's the small things that we do right that really have the biggest difference. And as we talk to you guys and we find out some of the nuances and some of the small things that you're doing that are just a little bit off, that's what's taking a huge part of your day. But there's no value that you guys can put on preparation. And by one, for the perfect sales week, having Monday be your prep day, but then having the planner for your week, you know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly where you're going to be focused on because you understand exactly from a 5A's perspective where you're at in your numbers and what you need to improve. Okay, but preparation is so key. And remember, guys, there's so many people out there that are there's so many salespeople out there that are just running, gunning, man. They're just Wild West. Guys, you can separate yourself so much by just having your crap together and spending a little bit of time to get prepared every single week.
Yep. Massive part. So this sales planner, the perfect sales week that we shared with you, and there's even more on like route setting, all of that stuff is within the workbook. So all of these resources are there for you guys. And like I said, don't think of this as a management tool. This is not a management tool. This is a tool for you guys to be able to outline what needs to happen within your week for you to be able to hit the goals that you need to hit and reach the goals that you want to hit. All right? Need and want are two completely different things. So this tool should support you. Right? We've already said it a few different times. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is a system that you guys can instantly adapt and start understanding what needs to happen within the week for me to be able to hit that $40,000 or $50,000. And I'm talking service wise. The other variable that I'll share with you guys go back into the 5 drivers. So if you don't have the number that you need on that sheet, so let's just say you have a goal of 40,000 or I'm just going to say 10,000, right? We're just going to make it super simple math. Service side, we got 1 truck, we need 10,000 bucks a week. All right, cool. If you fill that out and it's not 10,000, you should be looking at your on-site upsells. So when your trucks are on site, running leak calls or whatever they're doing, is there anything that we can do that we can sell on site for you guys to be able to increase your sales revenue for this week? Because chances are, if you find an opportunity this week, by the time you get out there, inspect the building, build the proposal, deliver the proposal, give it back to the client, and then the client makes the decision, this can be 30 plus days. On average, it's probably more than 30 plus days. So when you build all of this stuff on Monday and you see, okay, my projected revenue is not where I need it to be, it instantly allows you to be able to understand that you're going to have to get unique. You're going to have to look for on-site upsells. You're going to have to look for ways to be able to maximize your proposals. You're going to have to look for post-job proposals, right, that you might have with clients who are willing or able to be able to make decisions quickly. This was a massive part that we always implemented inside the business. And I'll tell you, most of the time, my sales reps started the week off under projected goal. Very commonly, they started off under projected goal, but they would be talking to the technicians. They would be talking to what was happening throughout the week, and they would end at goal or above goal because they were able to be so smart, right? And work so diligently with the technician and with the client to be able to fight for the greater good, find additional work, right? Get it approved on site. So even if it was $7,000 projected, they instantly knew if they ran their schedule, they would have 7,000 worth of revenue. What I need is 3,000 more. So what needs to change within my schedule for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? That's going to allow me to find $3,000 more so I can hit my $10,000 goal. That to me is the beauty of this, is because when you define this on Monday, we can change the outcomes of Friday when we define it on Monday. It's almost impossible to change the outcomes of Friday when we don't see it until Thursday. So this goes right back. Win the day to win the week to win the month to win the quarter, and so on. So think of this as a tool to be able to support you guys, right? To be able to lift you guys up, raise the floor, to be able to say, I know what I'm doing this week, and all I have to do is execute this schedule, and this schedule is going to get me X. Then it's a matter of checking those boxes off, right? Or circles, I should say. Print it out. If you have the pads, cool. Take one, write it all down. That's your schedule for the week. Keep that on a clipboard. Keep it. I asked what you did to keep it in front of your face when we first started this. Put it on your desk. Tape it on a door. Like, I don't care where you guys put it, but you constantly got to be looking at it, because that's the accountability piece to this. The accountability piece is not only that you create it and you make it, but then you also execute on it. And this is what's going to raise the floor. This is what's going to get you guys that process to where you can start acting like $100 million company. Because I promise you, there is a path inside place. The people who sell millions of dollars inside service, it's not accident. They don't wake up inside the morning and all of a sudden say, that's cool, I got a couple contracts. They're consistently executing on a plan that they have already tweaked to know exactly what they need to do in order to get the results that they need. That's why it looks easy, because all they're doing is following a plan. They're not creating it. It's not filled with anxiety. It's not filled with Hail Marys to be able to see if it's going to work. It's a consistent process. So this is what you guys got. You guys got the chance to be able to take this, steal it out of the workbook. Everything's there. Fill it out. If you guys want to get really, really deep into this and you're like, man, I don't have a time, I'm not hitting my numbers, open your calendar up to somebody. See if what you're doing really is the most important thing that you need to be doing. So what I got, Mr. Bonnie, what you got?
It.
Yeah. Okay. You guys got 7 minutes. You're welcome for the time back. You guys need anything from David or myself, we have office hours on Thursdays. I would love to see you guys there, especially if you have questions about how to fill this out, how to execute it, or anything within the growth strategy. That's why we show up. So, guys, go have a kick-ass week. Remember that if you want change, you have to do something different. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting some type of different outcome. So if you are upset with the outcome and you have not changed anything, that's on you. Cool, guys?
Great week.
Later.